to begin this card, we're going to take a piece of Whisper White that's 2 3/4 by 2 3/4, and I'm going to use the leaves from the Best Friends Forever stamp set. In fact, that's the only stamp set I'm going to be using on this card. And I'm inking it up in Blushing Bride ink. And then I'm going to take the BFF from the same stamp set, and I'm going to be stamping it in soft suede. So I want the BFF to go right across the middle of my card. So I'm using my Stamp-A-Majig. Ink this up and right into the center. So now we're done with the soft suede. Go ahead and close this. And then we're going to take a Stampin' sponge, and in that Blushing Bride, I'm just going to go through and sponge the edges. Go. I just didn't want it really bright, but I also didn't want to be using vanilla on this card. Okay, so we're done with that. And now we can start doing our layering. So I'm going to put snail on the back. And I'm going to layer it onto a piece of Blushing Bride that's going to be 2 7/8 by 2 7/8. And both of these are going to go onto a piece of soft suede that's going to be 3 inches by 3 inches. Okay, and then I'm going to grab some dimensionals and put some on each corner. And one in the middle. Okay, then I'm just going to set this aside. Now we're going to go on to our card layers. So I have a piece of Blushing Bride Designer Series paper, and it's the stripes. And I'm going to put another little strip. So the stripe DSP is going to be 1 inch by 4 inches. And then I'm going to take my scallop border punch. And this is another piece of soft suede. It's just going to be 4 inches by 1 inch. But this is like total cheating method here. I'm going to show you how. Actually, I use this punch upside down. It's easier for me. But I get asked a question all the time about how do you know how big to make your layers when you're using the punches on the end. Now I do have a trick for that too, but this is a much easier way. Okay, get that punched. So if you just use 2 separate pieces, no one's ever going to know, and then you're not even having to worry about math. So I'm just going to layer it on the side like that. And then I just like to take my finger and smooth over all those little cardstock fibers. The next thing that we want is going to be a piece of the Blushing Bride ribbon. And with our mini glue dots, I'm going to first cut a piece that's a little bit bigger. I'm going to take a mini glue dot on each end and one in the middle because I'm not going to sneak any ribbon underneath. So it's fine if this one's all good and tacked down. This is that fun poly stitched ribbon. I love it. It's one of my favorites. I'm just going to wrap this, or put it right into the middle of the card, or that accent piece right there first. Wrap it around, wrap it around. And I'm going to use some snail. And this one's going to have some bulk to it because of that ribbon. So just keep that in mind when you're layering. Oh wait, hang on. Let me go ahead and put all this together. So this is a piece of Blushing Bride that's going to be 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches, and it's going to layer onto a piece of soft suede that's going to be 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And these are both going to get layered onto a piece of Whisper White that's going to start at 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, and I've scored it at 4 1/4. So this is just going to fit right here on the front of our card. There we go. And then I'm going to mess around with the spacing because I want this to be pretty well spaced on the card, or else it's going to look funky. So what I like to do is just take the dimensionals off of this piece, and with it upside down, just eyeball where I want everything to go. So I want it right like this. So this is going to be pretty far over to the right hand side. Okay, and then I can flip this over and put it right into place. So we need one more thing, I do believe, and that's going to be an itty bitty tiny bow made out of the same Blushing Bride ribbon. Okay. Alright, then just trim it with my scissors and add a mini glue dot to hold it in place. I'm going to do it right in the middle. Then I'm going to go back to the Blushing Bride, and I'm not going to add extra layers to the inside of the card because this is going to be pretty bulky as is. So I'm just going to stamp directly onto that Whisper White. I'm just going to ink up these these leaves again and just stamp them down into the bottom corner. I hope that you have enjoyed learning how to make this fun card with the Best Friends Forever stamp set. To learn more about rubber stamping for card making and scrapbooking, visit www.iteachstamping.com. And remember, I don't just sell rubber stamps, I teach you how to use them. Have a great day.